Live breaking news, my fellow Americans, global citizens, and Nez Nation. The hypocrites, aka the Democrats, have stormed the Department of Education and harassing and badgering a poor federal employee led by the psychotic Klingon Maxine Waters, who has a history of violence, inciting it, declaring it. I've showed you many, many clips. We all know Klingon Maxine Waters. Watch this and then come on back. I'm going to share with you something that's going to link all of this together to kind of the mission of this channel, making common sense go viral. A headline in the Washington Post that you need to see and needs to be shared. But first, check this out.
Do they know that we're here? Max, ask the question again. That's important.
Were you told, are you making this decision to stand in front of this door on your own behalf, on behalf of the Department of Education, or were you told to come out here and block members of Congress from going to the desk?
I'm doing my job.
So everybody's free.
I just have to say really quickly that this guy's face, this poor federal employee who's just doing his job, his face literally says it all. He speaks for all of us. I feel so bad for this guy. Shame on you, you reckless, careless, feckless hypocrites.
What is that? We're doing our jobs. We're trying to save your
It's a non-responsive.
Show them your IDs. Were you told to stand here, or did you decide to stand here and block members of Congress from entering the Department of Education?
To federal buildings.
He's a security contractor. We're allowed in there.
So a private security contractor
do you know who members of Congress are?
Members of
We're all members of Congress.
Maybe he doesn't understand.
A private security contractor is making the decision to block members of Congress from a public access entrance.
I don't think he knows.
You have the authority as a private security contractor to block members of Congress. That has been knighted and granted to you.
You have to at least let us go to the desk.
Yeah.
Sending the goons out. As many divorces you want. Nothing's going to change.
Who told you to do this? Open the door.
I see you now.
So do you understand who members of Congress are?
I got it, yeah.
Well,
And you don't care.
Who are we then?
I got a job to do.
You don't care.
We have a job to do.
We're not dangerous people. We're not, I don't know, security. There are no thieves.
Yes, you are. You're extremely dangerous people. Instead of fighting for America, instead of securing our border, making our cities safe, instead of having actual real oversight and care about where our taxpayer dollars are, what are you doing? You're absolutely inciting violence. This is a riot right here. How dare you?
Thieves and thugs out here. We're members of Congress. We're parents. We're teachers.
Each of the
There's our ID, right there.
We were elected to do this.
This is our job.
I've never seen one.
This is our job. We're doing our job.
Oh, wow.
You're securing this building against who?
Members of Congress.
Who are you
The people.
protecting in
Against
this?
members of the people's
So
house
this is the
represent
beginning
the
of
people.
full transparency of this administration.
That's right.
The administration that talked about they're going to open the doors to all of these things and show the American public what is going on.
Transparency.
They won't even open the door to this building, to
Go to the
members of
visitor
Congress.
desk.
We are not posing any threat here. We are not dangerous people. We have not done
won't even
anything.
let us
We're
talk to
trying
the
to
Department of
request
Education
a meeting, and they have a private security contractor who on his own is making decisions on behalf of the Department of Education.
So Congressman Hayes, what you're saying is they allow billionaires and his minions to come in
I don't
to
know
this
who
building.
he is. I don't know who he is, but I know who I am.
allow-
And I'm a member of Congress with oversight responsibilities trying to request a meeting, and a private security contractor is not allowing me to enter the building.
They allow billionaires to go in this building, but not the people's representatives. They allow billionaires and their cronies to go in, but not. There's a lack of transparency here. The members of Congress, the people's representatives, are not allowed in. This is not transparent.
They're locking our kids out.
Yeah.
Well, not only are they not letting us in, now they've called the Department of Homeland Security. We are members of Congress here to talk with the Department of Education, and they're treating us.
Kids deserve to have us
Yes,
go in and fight for
absolutely.
them.
This is appalling.
Children of this country deserve that battle.
This is a public institution. This is not Russia. Let the camera see him. Let the camera see him. This man here.
We are members of Congress.
Come in.
They're
and
blocking
I want you to
us.
see this man here, who is a federal employee, he told us.
He's not.
Are you a federal employee? Huh?
Yes.
No, he said he's a federal employee. We pay him. We raise money to make sure that we have a Department of Education. Everybody that's hired at the Department of Education are here because we pay for them to be here.
She's practically attacking him. She's, encroaching on his personal space. The poor guy's just doing his job. And you guys, you heathens, you cretins, are literally fomenting and inciting violence against a federal employee. You have no right to be down there. Oh, it drives me crazy.
He's standing here today, blocking the door, and he can't give us a good reason why he's blocking this door.
Make sure they see right here, all access entrance.
Well, and I think it should be clear to parents in the United States, if you want to advocate on behalf of your children, you are not allowed to come into this building where you pay taxes. Parents who have children who are disabled, access is being blocked. You voted for members of Congress to advocate on behalf of your children with disabilities, for young women who have been victims of sexual assault in our classrooms, on our school grounds. Members of OCR are fighting for your children. We are not allowed in the building to talk to them. We are not allowed to advocate on behalf of America's children. America, we have a problem.
We do have a problem, and the problem is you guys. They are defending government spending, egregious, wasteful spending, while you and I suffered these last 4 years, barely able to put food on the table, barely able to afford our rent, our mortgage, paying so much more at the gas pump than we ever have, and inflation is skyrocketing, border crisis, the worst in history, Americans being injured, sometimes mortally in the case of people, Americans like Jocelyn Nungare and Laken Riley, which some of those demonic cretins didn't even sign. They voted no on the Laken Riley Act, which is simply just saying, if you are a criminal and you commit a felony against Americans and you're here illegally, you should be deported. Again, common sense. This is what the American people have chosen. This is what the American people spoke up for in resounding fashion on November 5th. Instead of fighting for actual Americans, no, they make a huge fuss over their slush fund. The Department of Education, at least at the federal level, has spent 3 times more per pupil than any other country. And we are literally at the bottom in literacy, computation, critical thinking skills, speech, communications, math, everything. We're at the bottom of everything. And so what President Trump is doing is he's pushing it back to the states. Again, limited government. Push it back to the states. Let the states decide. Makes sense, doesn't it? That's just common sense. You know, it was interesting. I can't remember who posted something about this, but if you look at like politics as sports, and you've got 2 teams, right? One of the teams literally has the worst record out there. They've lost every single game. And instead of switching it up, they're not doing anything differently. They're not moving around players. They're not changing their strategy. They're not doing anything differently. And they just keep losing and losing and losing. It's become abundantly clear that these guys need to fire their head coach. They need a new roster, draft some new people, fire the GM. They need to change everything from top to bottom. This is how things work in the real world. And these guys are so afraid of actually getting a real job because they could never hack it in the real world. They've mastered the art of PR. This is all public relations. If anybody actually is fooled by these people, they're not letting us go fight for your children. You think that these guys give a rat's ass about our kids? If you do, I humbly beseech you, please seek out some professional help. I mean that sincerely. If you actually have the thought in your head, my God, if this emotion is running through your veins, I love these guys. They're fighting for us. They're doing so good. They really care about my Johnny and Sally. You have a very serious issue. And I mean this sincerely. I'm not deriding. I'm not using satire. I'm being 100% dead serious. please seek professional help, because I can tell you I'm willing to bet the entire farm. I'm willing to do anything I can to prove to you they don't give a damn. I've said this many times. I don't call myself professor for kicks and giggles. I've worked with these people. I know these people. These are all academics. They're all academics. They've never held a real job, and yet their narcissism and ego does not match. It's not congruent with their skill level. You've been around stupid, dumb, unqualified people before, but they have this unbelievable lack of humility and excessive hubris. You've been around people like that. You're like, my gosh, they're so stupid, but they're so confident and proud of their stupidity. Like they have no clue. It's an awful, dangerous, by the way, combination. So this article just came out in one of the biggest publications out there, the Washington Post. Check this out. So this came out in the Washington Post just a few days ago. I have no idea who Ruth Marcus is, but sure, her headline there says Trump 2.0, the most damaging first 2 weeks in presidential history. And then the highlighted portion I highlighted with her byline, her second byline, is Trump's second term is all about curtailing government's power and reach. The most damaging first 2 weeks in presidential history, and his second term is all about curtailing government's power and reach. That's right, Ruth. That's exactly what we want. That's exactly what the mandate was all about on November 5th. That's exactly what we voted for, you dumb mook. Are you kidding me right now? Imagine, my fellow Americans, imagine actually thinking that more government power and more reach is a good thing. Imagine actually thinking limiting government, limiting their intrusion, limiting their waste and their spending of our taxpayer dollars on the most egregious things like $20 million to start up a Sesame Street show in Iraq while North Carolinians and Los Angelinos are suffering, living in tents. Imagine thinking to yourself, publishing this in a major publication and thinking, yep, I did good. Imagine the kind of human being that has this kind of cognizance in their anatomy. It is unbelievably insane. It is absolutely psychotic. So you see the pattern? Get our photo ops, get our video content, have the media taking pictures of us fighting for America's children, and then the media apparatus that is paid for, now that we're finding out all the stuff coming out from USAID, that is bought and paid for by the radical extreme left. We saw the 60 Minutes edit of Kamala Harris's interview, which is literally election interference. It's literally, there's no, I'm not being hyperbolic, there's no histrionics here. It is literally election interference because they edited it out and they cut out the real answer. And by the way, isn't it crazy how all of that editing, all of that doctoring of that interview, and she still came across dumb as rocks? Can you imagine? You can't edit garbage. It's still garbage. No matter how much garbage you try to edit, it still comes out garbage. Get your photo ops, pretend that you care, public relations, PR stunt, and then the media apparatus is the distribution, the propagandist media. If it wasn't for independent media, if it wasn't for real subject matter experts, not people with pieces of paper that say I'm a journalist, this stuff would never get out. So I beg you, tap the thumbs up, share this with everybody you know. The American people have spoken. We're sick and tired of the crap. Common sense is back. Help me make, by the way, if you want to know where you can get this original made in the USA Nez Nation Patriot merch, the link's in the comments, pinned comment, and in the description down below. We need common sense back. Thank God almighty that we finally have an administration and a president who cares about us, who's fighting for us and bringing common sense back. And I will always keep you in the loop. Check out these videos coming up on the screen right here, just in case you haven't seen them. Tap my face right there to subscribe and follow. I can't wait to hear your comments. And as always, may God bless you and may God bless America. I'll see you soon.